Here, Crockett demonstrates who she is in one ridiculous.
I want to be clear that, law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime.
Here is the rhetoric that Charlie stood for.
If you allow other people to convince you that you can't be better because of your skin color.
Here's a mind-numbing talking point already laying the foundation for excuses before the next elections.
In LA, do you think ICE is not going to show up around voting and polling booths to chill participation? You know that. The National Guard, you know that.
Here's her latest. A man, Charlie, was assassinated for his beliefs. Family, faith, unity, and she cannot allow his name to be remembered with respect.
What I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him.
Welcome to Stay in the Fray podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. This is where headlines get hit hard, hypocrisy gets shredded, and the absurd are laughed at. If you want comfort, this isn't your place. If you want blunt and unfiltered, I'm your guy. Join me in the fray.
All you gotta do is just listen up.
All right. Hey, guys. I'm going to get back to They Really Said That today. It's been a while since I've done that show. And after all the tragedy, chaos, and just nonsense the last few weeks, the politicians, the celebrities, the ones with the platform are doubling down on despicable idiocy. I do thank them for making these segments so easy for me. So Charlie Kirk is gone, assassinated. I've talked about it on a couple shows already. And what did we see from the left? Not grief, not unity, not a call for accountability. We saw teachers celebrating, influencers cheering, hashtags mocking his widow, Erica. They thought this was some sort of victory dance. Meanwhile, in the real world, tens of millions, I would say even close to hundreds of millions of people around the world showed up. Vigils, prayers, crowds standing shoulder to shoulder, honoring a man that they admired as a person, not just a talking point. And that's what shook me. The left can't pretend that the majority of the world agrees with them anymore. The receipts are lit up right there in candlelight. And then there's Irina, talked about her, the young woman from Ukraine who was killed in Charlotte on a train. Cold blood, stabbed 3 times. Barely a headline, because it did not fit the narrative. No celebrity hashtags, no late night monologues, no protest chants. These people love justice until it ruins their storyline. Then they turn down the volume and they move on. So that's why this segment exists. That's why I bring it back. That's why I think it's necessary and I enjoy it, that they really said that. It's not just about calling out words. It's about showing how disconnected these clowns are from reality. Because here's the truth. They are fading. Their protests are shrinking. Their TikTok mobs, a few thousand at best. Meanwhile, we have tens of millions standing up. Eyes are open. America is not buying the show anymore. And that's why people like Jimmy Kimmel are dealing with what they're dealing with. More on that in a moment. This is Stay in the Fray podcast. It is September 22nd. Let's roll. All right, let's get into the first contestant of tonight's dumbass parade. Representative Jasmine Crockett. This woman is a one-person highlight reel of stupidity. I swear I could turn on the camera at any random moment that she's speaking, and boom, instant material. She plays the victim, she rewrites reality, and she still expects applause. Here, Crockett demonstrates who she is in one ridiculous 17-second clip. Roll it, boys.
I want to be clear that, law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, okay? That is what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to solve crimes, not necessarily prevent them from happening, per se.
No, Jasmine, not per se. I love the woman sitting next to her, nodding like a bobblehead. Either she's just as dumb or she didn't want to risk disagreeing with Jasmine Crockett in public. She might throw a tantrum. Let's be clear. I can't even believe I have to. Law enforcement is 100% there to prevent crime, aid in stopping crime, and yes, solve crimes. They uphold laws. That's the job description. What you just said, Jasmine, isn't just wrong. It's dangerous. Imagine telling the cops they're not supposed to prevent crime. They just wait for the body bags to show up. You've got to be kidding me. I just cannot with this woman, but I will. So the next clip, Jasmine Crockett's favorite genre, race baiting. She's upset more people didn't vote down a bill to honor Charlie Kirk. Because why? Let's play this.
One of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us.
Before I shred that nonsense, let me give you a quick refresher on the racist Charlie Kirk, who she's crying about. Here is the rhetoric that Charlie stood for. Play it, guys.
You will never be the best version of yourself if you allow other people to convince you that you can't be better because of your skin color, because of your sexual identity, because of the community you came from. You must resist those narratives at all costs if you truly want to be successful in America.
Yeah, Jasmine. That sounded really racist. That's unity. Skin color doesn't matter. Equality of opportunity. You know, the exact opposite of what you're accusing him of. Charlie Kirk's record is crystal clear, and your lies fall apart with about 5 seconds of video evidence. But sure, keep crying. Keep crying victim. It's your brand at this point. Jasmine Crockett is being pushed out, and not soon enough. Thank God. She causes scenes in Congress. She lies through her teeth. She race baits. She throws out statements so stupid they collapse under the weight of a quick Google search. This is not leadership. It's this type of performance art for idiots. And every time she opens her mouth, she proves my points. Let's move on. Next up, you know, all these people are probably equal in my mind. Let's talk about Gavin Newsom, Governor Hair Gel himself. This guy tries to mimic Trump's abrasive social media style, but instead of looking strong, he just looks like the substitute teacher who bought a leather jacket to connect with the kids. Democrats better pray someone else shows up out of nowhere, because if this is their best option for 2028, yikes. Here's a mind-numbing talking point already laying the foundation for excuses before the next elections. Roll this one, boys.
In LA, do you think ICE is not going to show up around voting and polling booths to chill participation? You know that. The National Guard, you know that. Everybody knows what's at stake, so we have to put a stake in the ground and do things differently.
Yes, the ICE will be at the polls to scare the voters away. Gavin, do you mean illegal immigrants who legally cannot vote? That's the group that you're worried about. Well, let me help you out. Any legal citizen has nothing to fear. Zero. Zilch. Do you know who should be scared? The people breaking the fucking law. Which it means you're basically admitting that you want their votes because you don't stand a chance without them. Newsom's logic. If you enforce the law, the criminals might feel bad. That's the point, dude. Okay, it's just... Here's a funny one. Let's laugh at this one. I got a kick out of this. It's the difference between our side and their side in one little clip. Roll this one.
I have 24 Trump 2028 hats. His folks keep sending me.
And you think he's going to run again?
No, don't give me. You don't. Who spends $200 million on a ballroom at their home and then leaves? I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around.
You know, you're not allowed to run. So everybody wants me to run, but including us. You know, it's funny. So this drives me crazy. Look, 4 more years. I go 4 more years. So it's sort of cool.
I love it. This is meltdown by the beta male Newsom himself. People, look at Trump. He's laughing about it. People are sending him Trump 2028 hats, and when he loses it, people keep sending them. He's melting down like a high schooler that's like getting made fun of in the cafeteria. Our side laughs, makes jokes, has fun. Their side, no humor, no self-awareness, just red-faced tantrums. Gavin, Trump is not running in 2028. The Constitution doesn't allow it. Although if he could run, he would win again. And you know that. Always remember that. But since he can't, maybe stop pretending you've uncovered some sinister plot because a few MAGA fans mailed you a fucking hat. Actually, I think we should all send him one now, everybody. Make him sweat through all that hair product. This is Gavin's entire strategy. Twist the words, spin fear, act like jokes or prophecies, all while the ground cracks under his watch in his own state. While he's worrying about hats and fake poll scare narratives, his own people are suffering. Talk about homelessness. In LA County, I'll admit, homelessness is down 4%. Okay, this year. San Diego's down 6.6%. Yet California still holds nearly 30% of America's homeless population, with 2/3 of them living on the street. You spent $24 billion recently on this circus, and it still can't show results. That is not leadership, Gavin. Quit playing on Twitter and doing a fucking podcast. Crime doesn't wait for your tweets. Property crimes, up 6%. Robberies, up 10%. Violent crime creeping. Meanwhile, you send out statements like your hair gel sponsor's under attack, or ICE is the boogeyman, or a hat is harassment. It's not reality, it's projection. And while you obsess over those MAGA hats, your businesses are fleeing. Tesla, gone. Oracle, gone. Hewlett-Packard, gone. Even the mom and pop shops are moving to Texas and Arizona and Florida, anywhere but your sinking ship. California is bleeding. While you worry about optics, nobody wants to be California right now. And certainly nobody wants you to be president. All right, let's talk about it. Developing news in this, which I'll get to. But we got to talk about Jimmy Kimmel. Late nights, I would say former, but apparently they're bringing him back. Let me tell you what happened. I think he's the worst of all of them. I mean, Colbert was probably the worst, so we're going in order. But he was finally relieved of his duties indefinitely by ABC, Disney, that whole corporation. And yes, his ratings suck. Terrible. They're worse than Colbert's. But more important, he's doubled and tripled down on false statements over and over and over again. And his last rant about Charlie Kirk's killer went too far. If ABC Disney has to take you off, then you've gone too far. Let's clear something up for the slow crowd. An employer firing you or removing you is not a threat to your free speech. It's free enterprise. That's how America works. The irony is that the left was more upset about a failing talk show host getting canned than about a man being assassinated for wanting to have conversations. Let that sink in. I don't care if Kimmel was a buddy of yours. Before I tell you anymore, check this out. 2 years ago, this is what Kimmel himself said when Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox. Roll it.
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means. Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is.
He's terrific. He's not funny. Even if try and be at least funny a little bit. I don't need to add much. I mean, Jimmy said all that we need to hear here. When Tucker's gone, it's consequences. When Jimmy's gone, it's censorship. Hypocrisy does not get any easier to expose than this. How about we move to another media outlet, one of the, I'm sure, buddies of all the news outlets, Chris Hayes over at MSNBC. Same script, different clown. Take a look at this.
ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless. Journeyman cable news host Tucker Carlson, just fired from his third network, he believed he could say anything, no matter how vile, no matter how disgusting, no matter how offensive, no matter dehumanizing or belittling. And if you act like a sociopath over and over and over and over, you will become unpopular on the national stage.
And there it is. When Tucker was fired, good riddance. When Jimmy's fired, the First Amendment is under attack. Everything he just said about Tucker Carlson 2 years ago is how we feel about Jimmy Kimmel now. They make this too easy. You don't get to call corporate firings justice 1 year and oppression the next. Pick a lane. And then you've got geniuses like this. This guy's name is Chris Mowry. It sounds familiar, but I have no clue who the hell this guy is. His post was too dumb to ignore. Let's throw it up on the screen here. It's unbelievable. It says, I'm starting an anonymous website where you can submit tips of people making fun of Jimmy Kimmel. If you make fun of Kimmel, your future employers will see it. Fuck around and find out, which is FAFO. So he thinks employers are going to blacklist anyone who laughs at Jimmy Kimmel being fired. Really? That's his line. He ends it, well, it's hilarious because he ends it with FAFO, which is cute because that's what we've been using it for a while, and he steals it. They did the same thing with Snowflake and with some of these other words. They're just not creative. They're like little robots. Second, find out what, Chris? That HR departments are combing LinkedIn looking for Kimmel jokes? The only thing you're finding out is how pathetic your priorities are. Comparing Kimmel's firing to celebrating assassination is brain rot. So, I want to close the book on Jimmy. This guy started his career on The Man Show, by the way, objectifying women daily, chugging beer and mocking, nothing wrong with chugging beer, but mocking anyone in sight. And you know, it was funny. I'm not going to lie, because that's what the show was meant to be. But somewhere in the last decade, Jimmy swapped out jokes for smug lectures. He became this morality police for Hollywood and for the left. And when you spend your years calling other people hateful only to spread more hate yourself, then don't be shocked when the axe falls. And don't you dare, any of you, compare Jimmy losing a paycheck to Charlie Kirk losing his life. One is a career consequence, and the other is irreversible tragedy. If you cannot tell the difference, you're too far gone to save. Jimmy Kimmel isn't canceled. He was just unemployed for a week, which is what I want to get to. I was about to do this show when I heard the news that ABC and Disney have caved because it is their choice. It has nothing to do with fucking Donald Trump. Stop it. I'm tired of it. Everything is Trump. Guys are pathetic. ABC and Disney caved. They apparently had a bunch of letters written by 400 celebrities. Who gives a shit about them? Apparently ABC and Disney caved to it. I hope that they're willing to fund everything because I guarantee you this is going to hurt. I guarantee you that people who went to Disney still, even though they knew they were a little woke and a little this, people take their kids to Disney still. People still have Disney Plus for their kids. I do. Not anymore. Because they caved. Because everything that they said that was correct, that Jimmy Kimmel spewed out of his mouth, they took back after a couple of days of discussion with Jimmy. And we'll see. I'll give it a chance. I'm not going to watch, but I'm sure I'll hear about it. If he continues on his path or if he's actually listened and said, you know what, maybe I'm being a complete dick. I'll move on from Jimmy Kimmel, but he is back apparently starting tomorrow, which is Tuesday, the 23rd of September. Stay tuned. I mean, It's unbelievable. People making fun of Charlie Kirk dying are now turning around saying, well, but you're making fun of Jimmy Kimmel losing his gig. You people make me sick. You really do. Fuck off. I'm tired of it. I'm going to move on to this other person. I'm already fired up, and I may despise this woman more than anyone else in politics. And no, I'm not going to say AOC. We all know how much I love AOC. This is Ilhan Omar. She represents everything broken in America's political system. She hates the United States as it was founded and as it is. She has an agenda, and she says things so vile, it'll make your head spin. Let's be real. The only reason she keeps getting elected is because she's built a district of Somali loyalists who keep her in office while she spits the very country that gave her everything. Here's her latest. A man, Charlie, is assassinated for his beliefs. Family, faith, unity, and she cannot allow his name to be remembered with respect. Hit play, guys.
People found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed.
You are being judged. Listen to that. Ilhan Omar, who, by the way, married her brother to rig immigration law. She sits there with a straight face, telling us that Charlie Kirk's legacy belongs in the dustbin of history. We should move on, forget him, as if the problem was Charlie's hate, not the hate that killed him. How dare you, Omar? The man preached unity. He talked about skin color not mattering, about family, about freedom, about fathers in the home, on. And you call it reprehensible? Go actually watch his words. Your words are careless, lazy, and insulting. This is what she does, though. She doubles down, she gaslights, she slanders. She knows the left cannot afford for Charlie to be remembered positively. So they smear him, even in death. The sick part is she's not just insulting him. She's insulting millions of people around the world who mourned him, prayed for him, and honored him. Yes, we want memorials. We want remembrance. And the people that do outnumber you people by a lot. You're spitting on all of us. And we want you gone. She has no alignment with the values of this country. She would replace those values in a heartbeat with something unrecognizable. And if that's what she really wants, then she should go live in a place that actually resembles her dream society. Go back to Somalia. I'll chip in for the ticket. Because it sure as hell isn't the United States that you want to be in. She doesn't want to serve in the United States. She wants to rewrite it. I'm done with her. Lastly, let's talk about this douchebag, this washed-up Hollywood elite, Robert De Niro. He can't go 5 minutes without thinking, breathing, or talking about Donald Trump. That defines a weak man. He's an actor, not a statesman, and all he's got left is his tiny little platform and rage. I came across this ridiculous display. It was from a while back, I admit, but I had to show it. It's just and he's still doing it, and they're all still doing it. It's so ridiculous. You might or might not remember it, but take a look at this.
I'm going to say one thing. Fuck Trump. It's no longer down with Trump. It's fuck Trump.
This was at one of the award shows that nobody outside of Hollywood gives a shit about anymore. I think this was the Tony Awards or something for theater and performance. Or he has a mic and a stage and a captive audience, and that's how he decided to use it. So much substance, so much wisdom, truly inspiring stuff, De Niro. This is classic virtue signaling. Shout, fuck Trump, take your bow, go home on your private jet. This happens now still at all of these award shows, this type of shit. And to the idiots in attendance, stand and clap, just like in this clip, you're irrelevant. You smile and laugh and it's all fun. You sit in your little glittery bubble, stroking each other's egos because you're actually miserable and everybody hates you. You bitch about guns, but these auditoriums are bound to have armed guards. You complain about climate change and then you hop on your private jet for a work retreat. You demand open borders in your speeches, but you close your gates that are behind walls, with security and privilege. Here's the rogue truth. De Niro's never given one coherent reason to hate Trump. It's always just name-calling. It's always ragemanship. Did Trump bang his wife or something? Did he personally hurt him in a business deal? I don't know. He's just the captain of the echo chamber. Robert, if your legacy is actor who hates Trump, then congratulations, you fucking peaked. Just shut up and try to entertain us again. I Meet the Parents was, I guess, kind of funny. You were good. Do something. Meanwhile, the real world moves on while you people sulk in award show limelight, and nobody watches. Look at the ratings. It's almost funny. If this all wasn't so serious right now, it would be hilarious that you people think that anybody cares. So that's it for this episode. I'm fired up. I wanted to touch on a few things. Like I said, I got the Kimmel information just before I sat down to do this. So perhaps I'll be talking about that next time. This episode was the all-star game of idiocy. The Super Bowl of virtue signaling cackles. The best they've got is a parade of hypocrisy, lies, tantrums, misinformation, tired sound bites. But here's the good news. People are tuning them out. You see it over and over again. They still double down. Fine. Keep fading. I am just here to help speed the process along however I can. And look, let me remind you of something before I end. There are plenty of politicians and celebrities and friends and acquaintances that I don't really give a shit about, that I disagree with. But you'll never hear me rip them apart. Why? Because unlike most of their little buddies, they've got a soul. I'll give you an example. Jamie Lee Curtis has said almost everything I oppose politically. And yet, when Charlie was assassinated, she wept. She showed humanity. And she admitted that she was just heartbroken. And she was chastised by her own side for it. Beyond me. That's the difference. That's what matters. Humanity. Humanity doesn't have to agree with me to earn my respect. You just have to be human. I put Jamie Lee on the show once on They Really Said That, but I won't do it again because she and I should be able to disagree and still live life. She proved that when she shed tears of sorrow over Charlie. She has my respect. So here's my ask. Help me build this team. A team of people who refuse to be gaslit, who call out hypocrisy, and who actually want the truth to win again. Subscribe, follow, like, all the stuff. Share this with one person who's on the fence. Keep pushing the conversation forward. It's what Charlie wanted, and it's what we should all want. They can scream all they want. We have the numbers now. We've got the receipts, and we have the will. Those are facts. So stay aware, stay unafraid, stay relentless, stay in the fray. I love you guys.
All you gotta do is just listen up.